As you open up and look at your core practice sheet, you're going to see there are two types of questions. The first is this type. So given a picture with two triangles, are those two triangles congruent? And if you know they are, how do you know? So take a look at what we have. When you see the marks here, that means that those two sides are the same, right? So I'm going to just do like a purple outline here so that I can see that those are matching up with each other. What else do we have? We have a note here that these two angles are the same. I know they're the same because they each have one arc. That's how you mark in geometry that two angles are congruent. You give them the same number of marks. We now have to decide, is there other information that we have? Here's what I mean by that. Take a look at this middle diagonal segment. I noticed that it's a side of the top triangle, and it is also a side of the bottom triangle. Now, don't think too hard when I say this next sentence. Isn't this line segment the same length as itself? Well, yes, of course it is. It's the same line segment. Of course it's the same length as itself. Here's now what I have. In the top triangle and the bottom triangle, I've got the purple sides that match, and then I have an angle that matches, and then I have this blue marked side that is the same as itself. So I have two sides that match and the angle in between them. Are these congruent? Yes. How do I know? S, A, S, S, A, S. There you go. If the information that you have about congruency matches one of our four methods, you've shown they're congruent, and you just state what that method is. Okay, next up. As we look at this situation, what do we have? I see that I have some sides that are matching up. We've got an angle that matches. Do we have any other information? We do. Whenever you have two lines that cross each other, the angles that are directly opposite one another will always end up being the same. Those are called vertical angles. And vertical angles are congruent. So in this particular triangle, this angle is the same size as the angle directly across from it. So what do we have? An angle that matches, then another angle that matches, and then a side that is not between the two angles. So it's angle to side. Are these congruent? Yes, they are. Angle, angle, side. Let's keep going. Take a look at what we have here. We've got sides that match with the 1 mark, another set of sides that match with the 2 mark. So we have S and S. Do we have information about any angles? No. There's no marks and there are no vertical angles to work with. Do we have information about the third side? Nope. This is only 2 things, and 2 things is not enough. So are these triangles congruent? I don't know. Maybe they are, but maybe they're not. There is not enough information. You would need information about the angle in between, or you might need information about that third side, but with just 2 sides, we don't have enough to go on. Yeah, I'd like you to try this next one now. Do a quick pause. I want you to do what you think is right, and then unpause when you're ready to check. Okay, I've got those sides that match with the 2 marks, these sides that match with the 3 marks, and this diagonal across the middle is the same as itself. So in the top triangle, I've got sides 1, 2, and 3. In the bottom triangle, I've got sides 1, 2, and 3. Yes, these are the same by S, S, S. Okay, a couple more here. On this one, once again, quick pause, unpause when you're ready to check. Now here you need to know that when you have a line that intersects another line at a right angle, you actually get two right angles. In addition, this side that's shared is the same as itself. So we've got angles that match, and then another set of angles that match, and then after those, a side that is the same as itself. So yes, these are congruent by AAS, angle, angle, side. For this last one, I'm just going to make it a little smaller and move it up. There we go. Do a quick pause. Unpause when you're ready to check. So red angles match, one tick mark lines match, and I've got a set of vertical angles again. Those two lines intersect. The angles across from each other will be the same every time. So matching angles, then a matching side, and then a set of matching angles. So it's two angles with the side in between them, two angles with the side in between them. That's ASA, so yes, those are in fact congruent. Second type of practice problem you're going to see is where it says, okay, here's the situation. I'm going to give you a particular method, and I want to know what other information we need to prove congruence using this method. So let's see what we got. In these two triangles, I know that the sides with 2 marks are already congruent. I know the sides with 3 marks are already congruent. I just don't know anything about this last side. So I need to prove that this segment CE, and the way you do a segment is with both letters and then a little line on the top. That's line segment that goes from C to E. The order of the letters doesn't matter. So you could call it EC, it's the same thing. But I need that one to be the same as this segment, IG, or GI, it's the same thing. And to show that those are the same, use the congruent symbol in between. It's equals with that little squiggle on top. So in order to use SSS, I would need to know that segment CE is congruent to segment IG. Take a look at the next one. Angle, angle, side. All right. I know that this top angle matches this bottom angle. For the side, I know this middle diagonal is the same as itself. Now for angle, angle, side, I need my other angle to be one that doesn't touch the side. So as you look at this top triangle, this angle at the bottom, well, that touches the side. That would actually be ASA. That's not what I want this time. I want AAS. That means it's got to be this G angle. So angle G. In the bottom triangle, a similar bit of reasoning means I don't want this one. I want the one that doesn't touch the side. That's angle J. So to use AAS, I would need to know that angle G is congruent to angle J. Let's keep going. These are fun. So SAS. We know side matches side. We've got some vertical angles going on there. So for SAS, the angle needs to be between the two sets of corresponding sides. So that means I've got to be using this side in the bottom triangle, so CW or WC. And on the top triangle, it's got to be the side that makes that marked angle. So I want WX or XW, either way. Those would need to be congruent to each other. And then lastly, let's do an ASA. We've got a marked angle. We've got a marked side. We just need the other marked angle. Remember, order matters. Angle, side, angle. So it's got to be this K angle in the first. Angle, side, angle. Just follow that path. And it's got to be that Q angle in the bottom. And those are the two types of problems you'll see on your practice.